Hello guys, welcome to the channel. So in the last video we already saw that Angular routing, how the Angular routing is working and basically for what purpose that being used in Angular. So in today's video we are going to see the next concept in Angular, and it is basically about the Angular services, like why the Angular services are used and what is the purpose of that. So we will going to see that. So let's start with this. I have opened that Visual Studio Code. So Angular tutorial folder we have created, and in that the first project is there. So along with that we have a notes.txt for the understanding purpose we have created that. So we will start here for the Angular services today. So Angular services, so what is the basically Angular services and for what purpose we are being used that. Okay, so in Angular, a service is a class that holds business logic, reusable code, or data interaction logic, and is shared across multiple components basically. So Angular services are, it is a holds a business logic. So as you can see, like we can say web APIs. So for example, so this is the one of the way, like we are directly communicate to multiple components when we can define web API is in one of the services, and from there we will call that web API to the multiple components. So yeah, so that is the service basically. In the service we can add that web APIs, and across the multiple components we can distribute that. So service provide a way to separate concerns, like keeping components focused on rendering the view and handling user interactions, while services handle tasks like data fetching, data management, and business logic. So yeah, so that is about the service basically, why we can use that. So we will see, like in Angular, service is a class that hold business logic. Okay, service is a class that holds business logic, also reusable code, or data interaction logic. Data interaction logic, and is shared across multiple components. Okay, so it is shared across multiple components. So same way, why basically, like we understood, like we can create one service class, and it is business logic class, and in that we can add that, and across the multiple components we can use that. But what is that key concepts for that Angular service, like why we can use that? So the key concepts is basically code reusability, we can say, separation of concerns, and testability. It is easy for the testing. So the code reusability, in the sense like why, how it will be code reusability, because there is a multiple components, and in multiple components we have calling one API, and that API is repeatedly we are using, right? So multiple times we cannot use that, make that classes. So instead of that we can create one service, and that one service is a shared service to the common service for all components, and from there we will call that data. If suppose any API for the getting the user, fetching the user, or their all operations are happening, so that we can directly fetch in the another components, that multiple components. So the service class is the one only, but we are consuming components are multiple. So in that way, like the code reusability will be happen easier in the Angular service. So we will see, like how we can use in the real-time application, how we can create that service and all. So basically we can create the ng service using the ng command, ng generate, and yes for service. So we will see that syntax first. Syntax for that: ng generate service and service name. So this is the one syntax for the service. So we will create one service like ng-gs, and service name is the news data. Get one news API fetching the news related information in that service. So we will create like news service. So we will create that service, and before that we will create one separate component for the service related operation, and in that component we will fetch that news service in that component. Okay, so let's start with that approach. And in the first project I will create one component here first, ng gc one new service. I will create one new service component here. Okay, that component is created here, new service. Now I will create one service now. Okay, so here instead of the C we will add the yes, and service name we have added here in the notes.txt news service. Okay, so new service is the created. Along with that, new service dot service dot spec dot ts. So this is the test file is created. So this is the news dot service dot ts. Okay, so this is the service class. It is used, and this is our component. So we will fetch there one API there. So live API. So on the browser, if we can go here, and here if you can search for https news api.org. If I hit enter, so here you need to log in for that get live APIs. So this is the just one example actually, because we don't have currently backend for the APIs purpose. So one online API we will test with that front end technology in Angular. So this is you can assume this is a backend API we have created, and that we are consuming in the Angular application. So we will log in first, and or else directly get API key, click here, and here we will type one name. That data you will fill that, and after that we will good. So okay, so the registration is completed. Go to back to the home, and from here you will see that after the login you will see that this API here. So just we need to copy that API here from here. So we are fetching this API for the articles, and for that purpose we are copying this endpoint from here. We will see that endpoint from hitting from here. So see, this is the data. So this data we will fetch in the Angular. Okay, so for that purpose we will go in the service class basically. So in the service we will add that URL. So here if you can go in the service, in the constructor we will define like first HTTP client, because the HTTP client is required for us to calling that API. So in the node.txt we will add this. So we'll require to add the HTTP client in the constructor to calling live API. Okay, so now go inside that service. Here we will add that HTTP controller. So private HTTP and HTTP client. So this is currently we don't have that package, so we will import that package from the Angular common HTTP. So go here, add the import, and here HTTP client, and here from Angular common, and here HTTP. Okay, so now it will available for us. Okay, so this is the HTTP client we have added here. So same way we will create one API endpoint like or one function here like get latest news, and here in the URL we will put that URL that we copied from the browser. Okay, so from the live API. Okay, so this URL is here. Now we will use this URL return. We will return whatever the data from this URL we are getting to the component. Return this dot HTTP dot get, and we will pass here URL. Okay, spelling mistake. Okay, so this URL is we passed here. Okay, so same way this service is ready for us currently. So in this service what we did, we just added the HTTP client for the adding the live data from the API, and for that purpose we need that HTTP client. After that we added that HTTP client in the constructor, and we created one method for the getting live data for the news. So same way, so that service data we have created, right? So we will consume in the our new service component. Okay, so means in our we have created the new service, right? So in that we will add that. So here if you go inside that new service.component.ts, here on the ng unit, means on the ng load time, we will add that API endpoint, calling endpoint. Suppose ng on init. Okay, so here we will add that code. So before that, we need to add the constructor for this. So in the constructor, we need to consume that service basically first. So we will add the constructor here. In the constructor, we will define private and new service, and new service is coming from the new service. Okay, so this is we need to include. Okay, so this new service we have consumed here. So along with that, we will add one extra parameters for the response data we will define as any, and also news data. Okay, so now in the engine init, this dot news service dot get latest news, this function we have created there. Okay, so now get latest news dot subscribe. So here we will add the response, and inside that response, this dot response data, for this response data we will bind that equal to whatever response we got. And here we will check one condition, if this dot response data, so this dot response data dot status exactly equal to okay. So in this case only we will need to get the data. So now this dot news data dot, sorry, news data, for news data we will assign that value. So news data equal to this dot response data dot articles. So this articles is basically, we will see this name here. Okay, so this field we require, from this article we have all latest data. Okay, so this we need to paste here, articles. And for as of now we will console that, console dot log this dot news data. We will save this application and we will try to run this application. We will see in the browser, in the console, this data is coming. Oh, it is successfully loaded, but it is a previous output, so we will remove that from the app.component.ts, that routing data in the HTML, and here we will pass, we will comment this as of now, and here we will pass. Okay, so here as of now we will pass app, our app name is a news service, sorry, yeah, new service component, new service, same way app new service. Save, compile successfully, see on the browser. So basically nothing is there in the new service. Now if you can go inside the inspect and console, null injection error, no provider for HTTP client. Okay, so this in the console this error is came, no provider found. So we need to pass the provider in the module basically. In app.module.ts we need to pass that HTTP client module. So that's why this error is came. So for resolving this issue, we need to go in the app.module.ts, and here you need to add import HTTP client module, this one. Okay, so this is now came, and in the above providers we need to pass that. Okay, so here in the imports we need to pass that HTTP client module. Okay, after this we will check that output. This data is came from the live API, from the news API, and this is the news service works, and this is coming from the home component, because by default in the routing we added that, so we will remove as of now from the routing. So this default path we will remove, as we will comment as of now. Okay, so news services works. So same way in the console we saw already the data is coming. So we will bind that data to the HTML in the component.html. So whatever the data is coming, so we will see the result in the browser. So that purpose we will go inside the new service.component.html, and here we will write one h1 tag and live data from API. Okay, and in below in that we will add one div tag. We will use ng for directory now equal to let data of news data. Okay, div is completed. Now inside that h1 tag we will add that in API you can see the data here. What is the data? Author. So this author we will print there. So we will data dot author. Save this, and if you can see the browser, see the authors are printing here, and this is the live data from a API. So we will add this for h2 tag as of now. Save this, and on the browser you can see this is the authors. Now we will print same way in the paragraph tag title data dot title. Save this, and in the browser, so this is the title is the this one. So this one is coming here now. So same way if you want to see the description for that, so this is the description. So that also we will check here, and that we will print adding the h5 tag. We will take for that h5 data dot description. Save this, see the browser. So this is the description, and this is the all data is coming from the live API. Same way we have a image there. So there are, this is the URL URL to images. So we will use the images as well. So go inside here, use the image tag img. It's two-way binding, so we will keep that in the bracket, and here data dot URL to image. And we will add the property alt images, height 300 pixel we will keep, and width 300 pixel. Save this, and in the browser if you can see, so this is the images. We can see the images also loading for that. Okay, so this is the live data basically from the news API, and this API is we have used in the one of the service here. This is for the all components. So same way if you inject that service in another component like pipes, or there is a multiple home component, contact component, so there also that data will be populated automatically, because this is a common for the all components. So this is basically service. We can see we can render the data from the APIs in use of the HTTP client, and this is all our common for to the all other the components in the Angular. So this is the use of the service. Basically we will use the real-time application mostly in the services to getting the data from the APIs, and adding that data to the components and render that to the browser. So that's it about today's session basically. So it is regarding the Angular services. Hope that video is helpful for you. Please like and subscribe this channel, so we will mostly adding the useful videos for you. Okay.